Hello again, it's time for another short video update. I don't know how short this video is going to be. I think it would be good for us to talk a little bit about our visa process and how things are going to get us back to Thailand. About 30 minutes ago, I dropped off our passports and a whole pile of documents and mailed them to the Thai embassy in Washington, D.C. Gwen's been working on those for several days, getting all of that together. Why don't you give us a quick, just abbreviated idea of what has been involved in the process from day one? What did we do and what has been involved in the process?
Well, first of all, we had to get our flight tickets to get into Thailand. We had to pick a quarantine hotel and get that worked out and make an arrangement with the hotel and get at least a 10% payment in on that. So in this package we sent off today, it has all of our passports, passport pictures, our flight information into Thailand. And we had to get plane tickets to show that we had a way out of the country since we're only going in under a tourist visa. So that was a difficult purchase to make because those are really tickets we know we're not going to use and we're not going to be able to cancel them or get a refund for them. So I checked into different countries around Thailand and we found the cheapest ticket, which ended up being about $75 a person. So we have to have that, all the paperwork from our quarantine hotel, our last month's bank statement had to be printed out, a declaration form that all of us, including William, had to sign that said we've been informed of every step we needed to do. Seems like there was something else.
Insurance?
Insurance. Our insurance company had to give us a paper from the lawyers of the insurance company that said that they would cover us up to $100,000 per person if we developed COVID or any other issue while we were in the country. So, and $40 per person for a non-refundable application fee. So we are praying very hard that this gets accepted, because if it's denied for any reason, then we're back at step one.
So if we get the visas this week, then we're done. We just get on the plane.
No, once we get this application, we get the visa approved, then we have to send off for a certificate of entry, which says now that you have a visa, you need a paper that says you're allowed to come in. And we have to resend our flight information, our quarantine hotel, our insurance information, and our passport pictures, or pictures of our passport pages that have the visa on them. And we can only do that 15 days before our flight. And once we get that certificate, then we have to get our COVID test done less than 72 hours before our departure flight time. And then once we get the COVID negative test back, then we have to go online and fill out an application with the hospital for each one of us that shows we have a negative COVID test. And then we have a million questions to answer on that, including how many hours of sleep do you require a night, and do you use a sleeping pill, and just a lot of information the hospital wants from us as well. So, and then we have to take 3 sets of copies of all of that stuff for the airport, immigration, and whoever else may ask for it on the way. It's been interesting.
We signed a document that we sent to the hotel that said that we agree that while we are in our hotel room with the door shut, that we will do what?
Wear a face mask at all times.
All time wear a face mask, even
Yes.
if you're taking a shower.
Stay a meter apart from each other.
Stay at least over 3 feet apart.
And they'll do our first COVID test on our 5th day of quarantine. So whenever that comes back negative, they'll let us out for an hour a day.
It's like you're in prison and you get to go out to the yard,
Yes.
get some sunshine.
But
an hour a day.
we had to get a room for Lee, because he's over 18, and well, actually technically anyone over 13 is supposed to have their own room, but since they made us get a room for Lee and made us get a room for Andrew, but they said we would be allowed to put the 2 smaller boys split up between them. And they have built a temporary wall in the hallway of that floor and put a main door in it. That way we will be allowed to have our doors open and we can still be together as a family.
Yeah, so after we did all of that, we found out that if we would like a microwave, we can get one if we pay extra. And if we would like exercise equipment, we can get that if we pay extra. Or entertainment, like a PlayStation, whatever they call those, we can get those if we pay extra. I got a feeling we'll be paying some extra. But that lines all that up. Now, after the quarantine, then they'll finally release us. We can go to the house.
Mm-hmm.
However, our visas will be good for, at that point, about 50 more days, and we will have to apply for an extension or change to an education visa.
Yeah, so while we're in quarantine, we'll be doing lots of online applications and paperwork for Randy and I and Lee to be enrolled in an online Thai language school in order for us to be able to apply for an education visa. So if we can do that, then from what we understand, we will be guaranteed 10 months. So after that, we will be required to come back to the United States.
Yeah, the ED visa, the education visa, is the one that can get us the most amount of time. So a question I get all the time is that, first of all, missionaries are going back to their countries. Why is it taking you so long? Well, it depends on the country, number one. Number two, it depends on the visa. So when we arrived in Thailand, we let them know the organization in charge of missionary visas. If you want to be a missionary legally as a missionary in the country of Thailand, you go through an organization that's called the Evangelical Fellowship of Thailand. I went to them when they found out I was going to be doing some work with Muslims. They refused to give me a visa. So I went in as a volunteer worker, like a social worker, and I would teach English, and that worked fine for 11 years. The problem is, because of COVID, they are not giving volunteer visas right now. We expect that they will soon. We're hopeful that they will soon. But regardless of whether they do or not, with us going in as a tourist, we can change to an education visa, but we cannot change to a volunteer visa. So at about a year from going in, we will have to leave the country. And so what we'll probably do, Cynthia will be graduating from college around that time. We'll probably plan a 2-month trip back here to the States, go to that. I'll visit some churches, raise a little support, and we'll head back to Thailand and hopefully get our volunteer visa where we can stay a little bit longer. So after we get to Thailand, you're going to be getting videos of us saying, pray about our visa. And that's what we're asking you to pray about now. We were busy last week, had a hailstorm.
Yes. It was bad. It lasted at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, Texas weather. And so we had that. We sang Wednesday night. I'm doing chapel this coming Wednesday morning at the Christian school. We're starting a family conference a week from tomorrow at the Spanish church. I'll be preaching in Spanish. Gwen will be preaching in Spanish or English, I don't know, to the ladies. So be in prayer about that. We'll put another video out before that. So a lot going on. We're still staying busy. We still got all the homeschool and all the regular stuff going on. So this has been a long video, but I felt like it would be a good idea just to let you guys, not that we're complaining.
No.
Not that we're complaining, but we felt like it'd be a good idea if you knew what was going on and a lot of the things that are involved in getting us back to Thailand. So is that about it? What am I forgetting?
I think that's it. We've just been busy on paperwork.
Yeah. I have a friend I want to ask you to pray for, and I'm not going to let any personal information out. His name's Jeff. Just be in prayer for Jeff. He's a friend of mine. He's had some medical issues, and he's in the hospital, hopefully coming home today, but be in prayer for him. He's a good friend of ours and a supporter of ours. So until next week, I know I'm forgetting something, but thank you for supporting us. Thank you for praying for us, and we look forward to getting another video to you next week. God bless you.